dragging it.
A voice from the past. A distant memory. But whatever happened to Jimmy Clitheroe? Today, all that remains of the much-loved naughty Lancashire schoolboy is a very small brass plaque on the trunk of a cherry tree just by a rose garden in Carlton Cemetery near Blackpool, where his ashes were scattered amongst such other northern comedy greats as Norman Evans, Frank Randall and Danny Ross. So what did happen? Well, the star of TV and radio died on the same day as his mother was buried. A cruel and bizarre turn of events. Well, to find out just what did happen, let's go back to the beginning. And taking up the story is Irene Oxford, Jimmy's cousin.
He was born in Clitheroe at number 58 Wilkins Street, now known as Highfield Road, but his parents lived in Blackpool. So, of course, she came home to her mother's to have her baby. We didn't get to hospitals and things like they do nowadays. And then, of course, back to Blackpool for his early years and his school years, right up to 14, when we left school. He left school in those days at 14.
He grew up in a small mill town, Blackpool, just outside Nelson in Lancashire.
Stephen Poppet, researcher and co-author of the forthcoming book, The Jimmy Clitheroe Story.
And he seemed to be a normal little boy until he was about 7 or 8 years old. And then his parents realised that he wasn't growing up. He wasn't getting any taller.
And they took him to the doctors. Now, it was said that his thyroid gland was damaged at birth. And as thyroid gland controls your growth, I suppose way back in those days, the 1920s, which it was, they hadn't the advanced science that they have now to do anything about it. So he remained that size, because his father was 6'2". And Auntie Emma and my father, a brother and sister, they were quite small. They'd only be about 5'2", something like that.
The upshot was that he always remained looking as though he was about 11 years old, because he never grew taller than 4'3".
So, still far from his full height of 4'3", what could little Jimmy do? Stephen Poppet again.
Because his parents worked in the mill, and they were weavers in the Lancashire cotton mills, he couldn't do that because he wasn't tall enough to reach the looms in the mill. So he had to find something else to do. So he was doing quite well as a lad in amateur entertainments, in the Sunday school concert parties, and he decided that he would go into show business.
Stop climbing all over the settee. I'm trying to do my nails.
Ooh, it doesn't half pong, that paint you put on.
It isn't paint, it's nail varnish.
Why do you put it on?
Because it makes my nails look better. It covers the cracks.
Pity they don't make it for your face.
Ha ha. Keep still, I'll have it all over my fingers.
Ooh, what a horrible colour. It looks as though your hands are dripping with blood. Dracula's daughter.
What do you know about nail varnish? You're too young to appreciate it.
Oh, am I?
Susan, that nail varnish is a bit vivid, isn't it?
Grandad, you're too young to appreciate it.
Don't be old-fashioned, Grandfather.
Well, it's a bit startling, isn't it?
That's what I told her. She looks like a vulture having a jam butty.
Just before Jimmy left school, he had a lucky break. He entered and won a local talent competition and got introduced to show business impresario George Baker, who ran what was then the Alhambra Theatre in Nelson.
He introduced Jimmy to a juvenile troupe called the Winstanley Babes, who came from Manchester. And by sheer chance, the week that Jimmy went to see him and said, "Can you help me to get into show business?" this troupe was appearing at the Alhambra. And so he pushed Jimmy into an audition with them. They accepted him, and straight away he was into show business.
Stephen's researching and writing partner, Sandra Skuse.
It's quite peculiar that they actually accepted him because the Winstanley Babes were an all-girl troupe. So little Jimmy was the only boy. Oh, I think he did a bit of everything. He did a bit of dancing. I think there was a bit of skating involved as well.
He had this piano accordion. I mean, you've got to remember this. We're talking about little Jimmy Clitheroe. He's only 4'3" at his height, so to speak. He was a lot shorter when he was a child. And so he had a piano accordion that was 18 inches high, so it was half as high as he was, effectively. But that was what he did. He was a boy accordionist in Variety.
And he did a little skating act at one time, roller skating. He joined a troupe of dancers, and did acts with them. It was Winstanley's group, wasn't it? Yes. And he was with them for quite a while, and his little individual act was piano accordion and xylophone. He was quite good with musical instruments, actually. He could play the piano accordion, the xylophone, and the clarinet.
So what happened to the piano accordion playing genius? Sandra Skuse again.
And story has it that he gave up the accordion because one night it fell on him on the stage and he couldn't get up. So he had to give it up and go and do something else.
Oh well, it was good whilst it lasted. Then, luckily for Jimmie, another break came along.
By chance, they had an engagement on the Isle of Man, and it was the same week as Old Mother Riley came there. And Old Mother Riley, Arthur Lucan and Kitty McShane, they were the biggest thing in show business in those days. And they sort of took Jimmie under their wing, and he went into a pantomime with them, and he made a film with them. And that was his big break, really, meeting Old Mother Riley.
So things were rolling along quite nicely, until another chance meeting some 5 years later. Jimmie was appearing in one of the theatres on Blackpool's South Pier, whilst Frank Randall was appearing in the other.
Say, come here, you'll have to excuse me.
Yes, there were two theatres on the South Pier in those days. Eventually, the pair got together with an act that had the audience gasping with amazement. Irene Oxford again.
Frank Randall would come on stage on his own, a few words to the audience, and then he'd say, well, I'll just get my old friend out here. And he'd go to a trunk and pick up Jimmie from the trunk, who was made up to look like a dummy, and just hung there, you know, put him on his knee and did the act, you know, and it was so lifelike. I remember seeing this for the very first time. It impressed me. And of course, when it's all over, Jim comes to life and jumps off his knee, and the audience were absolutely amazed because it was so lifelike otherwise.
So, a good act? Some weren't so sure. Scriptwriter and radio producer Jim Casey.
Although it went well, I always found it rather grotesque. He looked too much like a dummy, you know, being a midget with this set grin on his face. I mean, it was very good, very lifelike, but he looked really like a dummy, and it wasn't very nice, I didn't think, to look at.
So, of the radio career, Stephen Poppet.
Well, that began with James Casey. There was a very famous act on the music hall, Jimmy James. He did a stage drunk routine, and he was extremely good. And his son, James Casey, who originally wrote for his father on the stage, began to write for his father on radio. As a result of writing for his father on the radio, he became a BBC radio producer. While he'd been in Variety, he'd actually met Jimmy Clitheroe. So when he came to produce a variety show on the radio called Call Boy, he wanted a boy to be the call boy of this fictitious variety theatre.
Well, we sort of worked, or Jim Casey, who was writing it, worked a little story into Call Boy, where every week we used to do a little domestic scene in the show.
And it was very successful, and a little while afterwards, I did a pilot of The Clitheroe Kid. Everybody liked it, except the head of that programme, and he didn't want a midget on radio, he said. So I said, well, they don't actually know he is, you know, being radio, because he sounds like a boy. He said, yes, but I know, and I don't like it. So we did another 2 series of Call Boy, but the third one, I was in the BBC by then, and I produced it. And when we had the next meeting, I was waiting at the door, and I said, Call Boy figures, fantastic. He said, yes. I said, the best they've ever had. He said, yes. I said, the reason is Jimmy Clitheroe at home playing a little boy in a 7-minute sketch. Now can I do the Clitheroe Kid? And so in the end, he said, yes, do 6.
We present Jimmy Clitheroe as the Clitheroe Kid, with Peter Sinclair's grandfather, Patricia Burke's mother, Diana Day as Susan, and Leonard Williams as Theodore Craythorpe in
Clitheroe and the Hound Dog.
And that was how the Clitheroe Kid got started. One day in 1953, Jimmy Clitheroe had been appearing on the same bill as James Casey and his father in a variety show, and decided to use him when he needed a little boy later on for a radio show.
Father, what on earth are you doing, playing marbles?
No, I'm looking for a mouse.
A mouse?
Aye, there's a moose loose around this booth.
never you mind that. You go downstairs and see if you can get a trap.
Look, it's Timothy, a tame white mouse.
Father, fancy bringing a thing like that into your room.
It's Jimmy's mouse. He got it from Mossy.
Jimmy, you'd no right to get that mouse without asking me. You know that Susan's terrified of them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mum.
Well, hurry up now. Come on, let's see if we can find it.
Susan's found it.
The lover of furry creatures was Jimmy's radio sister, Diana Day.
He did and said things that we would probably all like to do ourselves, but couldn't get away with it, but he could.
He always wore the basic stage makeup and always wore the short trousers and the blazer and the school cap. Again, I think as a stage performer, he didn't feel he was working until he had these working clothes on. And he was a situation performer on the stage. You know, he could not work alone at all. In the whole of the run of the Clitheroe, as I say, 279 shows, he never ever suggested a plot, or, in fact, I don't think he ever changed a line.
Right, Mum, what is it you want?
Would you go and call Susan, please?
Certainly. What shall I call her? Fish face?
So at last, Jimmy had hit the big time. But all that stardom meant a fair bit of travelling, as cousin Irene Oxford remembers.
I drove him wherever he wanted to go, rather than... in fact, I taught him to drive eventually. On those long journeys from Oxford to Manchester, we'd change over occasionally. I put the L plates up and let him have a go. But that was because the carpenter at New Theatre in Oxford altered the car so that he could sit on it. We had wooden blocks put underneath the seats and wooden blocks put onto the pedals to extend them for him to be able to reach them. It was all done by the carpenter at the New Theatre, and of course every time we stopped with all these things to put on and and add to, and he'd get in and have a little drive, and he was absolutely thrilled to bits. And by the time we got back to Blackpool for the summer season, he passed his test. That's when he used to drive through Blackpool in his... Somebody said, there goes... I've forgotten what make of car it was now. There goes whatever it was, and there's nobody driving it.
Well, that car was a powder blue Mercedes. Co-writer of The Clitheroe Kid, Frank Roscoe, remembers one incident well.
I'm driving round this bend and up to the playhouse, and I'm turning in to go up the side of the playhouse to park. And as I turn around, I see, some distance behind, I see Jimmy's car. And behind Jimmy's car is a police car, and I thought, oh dear, here we go again. And I don't think Jimmy was even aware, you know. No. I don't think he'd looked. Anyway, he turned in and parked, and the police car parked behind him. Policeman took his time, as they do, and gradually got out and went, obviously, to sort out this lad who had stolen a car or something. And only when he got there and looked at him did he realise who it was. And you feel so sorry for them, because they look and they say, "Oh, Mr. Clitheroe, yes, yeah, I thought it was you." Yes. And they get the notebook out and say, "Would you mind, my kid would love your autograph," you know.
Oh, yes, he was stopped by a policeman, thinking that he was pinching a car, you know, until they actually got up close. I mean, a police car once escorted him right into Manchester and then pulled up and said, "Right, out." And of course, oh, we're very sorry. Those things did happen, that's quite true. I mean, was one night we were going through, I've forgotten where it was, Stoke somewhere, one of the cities. We were doing a show, we were late, and the car was absolutely packed full with people. And Jim said, "Oh, I'll drive." And he got in, and we went down a one-way street. And the policeman stopped us, and he said, oh, are you licensed to drive this car? So I said, yes. So I said, right, fair enough. He said, in fact, we're late for the theatre. Oh, of course, he said. Right, stop. He stopped all the traffic coming down the one-way street and let us go out into the centre of the way in order to get there on time.
His boy-like appearance wasn't just noticed by the boys in blue. Sandra Skuse.
I think a lot of people who would stop him in the street would treat him as a kid, because he was a kid. And I think Molly Sugden said sometimes it was very difficult to remember that he was an adult.
He was like a very small man, and I say man advisedly. But that was a funny thing. On stage or in television, he became a little boy. He was a little boy. I react to him as a little boy. In fact, one director once said to me, "I'm so afraid one day you'll smack him."
It's always happening. As soon as they hear the voice, they say, "Well, I know who that is." And then they say, Well, you're the same off as you are on, you know. You talk the same off as you do on.
In show business, of course, he wasn't a midget. He was Jimmy Clitheroe, who was a comic. And therefore, people would treat him as an ordinary man. It was just as easy for them to say he was good or he was lousy without feeling any sort of guilt. Because outside, people would think of him possibly as oh, look, there's a little man, a midget. But in show business, of course, he was Jimmy Clitheroe, the comic.
I'm sorry I kept you waiting, Alfie, but I really wanted that bath.
I've been telling you that for a week.
Don't be so cheeky.
That's enough of that, Jimmy. Sit down, Susan, I'll get you a cup of tea. Is Grandad ready yet?
Yes, he's coming down now, Mother.
Hey, what are you putting the light on for? It's still daylight.
Because I want to look at my face in the mirror.
There's bravery for you, Alfie.
Dry up. Oh, that bathroom mirror. My lipstick's all crooked.
Ah, looks all right to me.
Of course a lipstick's all right. It's a face that's crooked.
The BBC had thought about putting the Clitheroe Kid on the TV, but it never materialised. Meanwhile, Ronnie Taylor, who had produced Callboy, had moved to ABC Television, then part of Granada, and he wrote the 1963 TV series That's My Boy, starring Derek Guyler and Jim Monkhouse. Then, between 1964 and 68, the TV series for which Jimmy is best remembered, 49 episodes of Just Jimmy, which starred Danny Ross and Molly Sugden. So what happened to the television work? Sandra Goose.
Towards the end of his life, he was actually beginning to look older. He had kept his young looks for years and years, and unfortunately by the time he got to television, it was just beginning to show that he wasn't an 11-year-old schoolboy. And so it was sad in a way that if TV'd got to him earlier, things might have gone a different way.
Television works in close-ups.
TV director Geoffrey Wheeler.
An act like Jimmy Clitheroe is fine on the stage because everybody is at least 25 yards away from you, especially in the old days when you had footlights in the orchestra pit. So quite distant, so makeup and costume and so on, you could create the illusion. If you're standing so near to them that they're, you can touch them, then it's difficult to maintain that illusion, and it is a little bit strange. And perhaps it isn't enormously wise, if you have that kind of an act, to do it in big close-up.
By the time the TV career had dried up, Jimmy had bought a house in Bispam Road, Blackpool. But still following faithfully behind was his ever-clinging mother, Emma.
Well, he absolutely adored his mother, really, didn't he? I mean, he wouldn't have done anything. And really, I think his mother always sort of told him that he was, a bit of a freak of nature.
Diana Day.
He was always such a careful person with his money and everything, because I think his mother instilled it that he had to be.
Right, don't bother to bring any money. I'll borrow some off me granddad.
So, with his mother in tow, they toured the theatres, not residing in hotels, but in a caravan, which Jimmy had bought because, so rumour has it, he was too tight to pay for hotel accommodation. That wasn't the only tale of his miserly ways, as longtime friend and business partner Tommy Trafford tells.
We went to buy a hotel, which he was keen to have. And anyway, I knocked him down from 17,000 to 10,000. And he says, "You've done right well for me today. Don't you worry. I'll see you right." And he bought me a 20 packet of fags.
Now, to be fair to Jimmy, he did occasionally spend money, usually at his favourite pastime of gambling, on the dogs and on the horses.
He was very, very interested in horse racing. He had his own horse.
He went on to buy 2 betting shops. But did this big-shot lifestyle help to pull the birds?
If a friendship grew between him and any of the young ladies in the shows or the cast, his mother would not be at all appreciative and used to say, "I don't know what you're bothering about with my son for, and with all the rest of it. It's not in your ear, and it's not this and it's not that," until in the end she'd embarrass them so much that they would think, "Oh, well, I can't do with this." Because I can remember there was one occasion when it was, you probably don't remember the Dagenham Girl Pipers, but there was a very nice young lady that was not much taller than Jim himself, really. But mother put stop to that.
That was until one special girl came along. as Jimmy's next-door neighbour, Irene Roberts, remembers.
You see, you had that girl, you know, Sally, did you know that? She was nicely made. She was tall and slim and smart.
She was very attractive, very tall, very leggy-looking girl. Exactly the sort of girl you might expect to have been a Tiller girl. You can see why he was attracted to her.
He met Sally in pantomime at Leeds, and they struck up a relationship. She was very good for him in many ways, but I mean, she milked him also for things she wanted. But she was a companion for him.
And what did Mother make of Jimmy's newfound love?
She found out that she was wasting her time. She was getting nowhere, so she had to accept the fact or accept defeat and back out. But she didn't, so of course they went as a threesome everywhere together. Then she had to accept Sally.
Ah, at last, a proper girlfriend. Wasn't she?
I shouldn't think so. Well, I mean, if we want to go into it sex-wise, nothing could have happened, really. But, yes, in other ways, yes, she kept him company wherever he went and went as his lady friend, officially. But it would be in name only, I should think.
And then, just when things were starting to look up in the relationship department, disaster struck.
Oh, it was terribly sad. She died in a car crash.
At the time, we were having alterations done to Sawley Brow, out at Sawley, the hill, and the road workers were all there. And she was driving along towards the bottom of the hill, and she came across another car that she tried to overtake, and she ran right into the back of a lorry with girders on. And she wasn't dead immediately. She was taken to Clitheroe Hospital, but she died within half an hour or so. And he found himself then just left with his mother, no one else.
Jimmy never really recovered from the loss of Sally. Added to this, the radio series had been cancelled. And Emma, his mother, now in her 80s, was becoming frail. Eventually, she died on the 1st of June, 1973. Her funeral was to be on the 6th of June. Irene Oxford takes up the story.
I'd been over to be with him and make arrangements for the funeral shortly after Auntie Emma was brought to the funeral parlour. It was just up the road from where they lived. And we made arrangements for the funeral. Then I said I'd had to go back home to Skipton to my children and whatever. And so his uncle from London came up, uncle and wife, to stay with him in the bungalow until the funeral. And I didn't hear another thing until we arrived, walking up the drive for the day of the funeral, and his uncle from the south said, Jim's not here, they've had to take him into hospital. And I said, why? What's happened, you know? Well, I think he mixed sleeping pills and drink last night, and they found him unconscious this morning. So I said, oh, grief. So, of course, I dashed off in the car and up to the hospital. And I said, has anybody been up yet? They said, no, because we've been trying to deal with things here and the funeral and everything else. So I said, right, I'll go up. But when I got there, of course, I was informed that he died.
So, was it an accident or was it suicide? Jim Casey.
I don't know, but I don't think so. I think he just took sleeping tablets and then he had drinks. And I mean, he was very depressed and terribly, terribly shattered with his mother's death, and probably drank quite a bit and then took more tablets without realising it, I think.
He'd always had his mum around. He'd always had the radio series for the previous 15 years. And he'd had Sally around for a long time, and all those three things that were so important to him in life had suddenly gone. So he must have been confused, depressed.
But I can understand that life would have been very bleak for him without his mother, because she was the most important thing in his life.
And the coroner therefore decided that this was just an accident. Nobody believes that Jimmy had enough strength of mind to actually decide to kill himself. People just say it's ridiculous. He would never have done that deliberately. He was too much of a coward to have done that.
So, of course, we announced to everybody that on the day we buried his mother, so Jim had died in hospital.
The eternal naughty Lancashire schoolboy's life came to an abrupt end at the age of 51. But was it a happy life? Next-door neighbour, Irene Roberts.
And he'd always had his mother there everywhere they went. His mother was there. He had a rotten life, really, I should say. And he says, do you know, Irene, I feel awful. I said, do you? He said, yes, and when I get on that stage and the curtain goes up and the orchestra starts, I come alive. I forget everything else and I live it.
His ashes, and I think those of his mother's, were scattered in one of the rose gardens at the Carlton Cemetery. And just outside the entrance to the rose garden, there is a cherry tree with a tiny little plaque on it for Jimmy and his mum.
Those involved with the Clitheroe Kid this week were Peter Sinclair as grandfather, Patricia Burke as mother, Danny Ross as Alfie Hall, and Diana Day as Susan. The recorded programme was written by James Casey and Frank Roscoe, produced by James Casey, and starred Jimmy Clitheroe as the kid himself.
Isn't it marvellous, eh? A programme all about me. I've really enjoyed telling you all these stories, and you might be interested to know that up to date, I've had 34 spankings, washed my neck 6 times, and eaten 500 weight of whipped cream walnuts. See you next week. Ta-ra!
We present Jimmy Clitheroe as the Clitheroe Kid, with Peter Sinclair as grandfather, Patricia Burke as mother, Diana Day as Susan, and Leonard Williams as Theodore Craythorpe in
Clitheroe and the Hound Dog. Oh, I didn't know you were upstairs, Grandad.
Oh, I'm just getting ready to go out.
What is it tonight? Darts? Snooker? Or eyes down for a full house?
What do you know about housey?
We played at school in the history class.
History class? What's the history master doing teaching you housey?
Oh, he's not there. You see, for the last month, every time we've had chemistry, Charlie Thompson makes a test tube full of sulphureted hydrogen, and just before the history class, he pours it over the radiator. It smells just like bad eggs.
I know that.
Well, when Fruit Salad Fred comes in...
Who?
Fruit Salad Fred, the history master. He's got a nose like a banana. When he comes in, we complain of the smell coming up from the laboratory. So Fred goes down and has a row with the chemistry master. And by the time he gets back, we've had 2 games of housey.
What a mob. Well, who started all this?
Oh, Ozzy. He's learned all the saints from his dad. Legs 11, clickety-click, 66. Kelly's Eye, number 1. 2 fat ladies, 88. Top of the shop, 9-0. Mug's Return.
Mug's Return? What's that?
Oh, it isn't a number. It's what the lookout shouts when the history master's coming back.
Oh, dear, what a school. Well, no, that'll do for tonight. Now, away you go to your bed.
Oh, in a minute, Grandad.
Look, you've just had a bath and you're walking around with those slippers on. Now, your mother will get mad.
Oh, I can't go to bed till I find Timothy, my white mouse.
What mouse?
I got it from Ozzy this morning. I swapped him for 3 kale-eye suckers.
You tell your mother?
Why? She doesn't like kale-eye suckers.
About the mouse.
Well, I was keeping it as a surprise.
She'll get a surprise all right if she sees it running about.
That's why I want to find it. Hey, look under your bed, Grandad, while I look under the wardrobe.
Oh, all right. Oh, my back.
Father, what on earth are you doing, playing marbles?
No, I'm looking for a mouse.
A mouse?
Hey, there's a moose loose around this house.
Well, never you mind that. You go downstairs and see if you can get a trap.
Look, it's Timothy, a tame white mouse.
Father, fancy bringing a thing like that into your room.
It's Jimmy's mouse. He got it from Mossy.
Jimmy, you'd no right to get that mouse without asking me. You know that Susan's terrified of them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mum.
Well, hurry up now. Come on, let's see if we can find it.
Susan's found it.
Come on, quick, into her bedroom.
I'll get it.
Oh, quick, somebody, there's a mouse in here.
Don't shout like that. You'll frighten the life out of the poor thing.
I'll frighten it.
Now, don't panic, Susan.
It's all right, dear.
Hey, I can see him.
Where?
In your slipper.
Oh, get it out!
Shh, quiet. Shh. I've got him. You can come down now off that dressing table. Poor little Timothy. Did the nasty girl frighten you?
That settles it. Tomorrow you'll take that mouse back to Ozzy.
Oh, Mum, what for?
Because your mother says so.
Fancy having a horrible thing like that for a pet.
Why not? You've got Billy.
That's enough. I want no more arguments. You're taking that back to Ozzy and you're having no more pets in this house.
Oh, Mum. Everybody else has pets.
Yes, but everybody else looks after them.
Your mother's right. Look at the goldfish I had. I had to feed them, clean the tank out.
Well, I didn't like touching them. They were slimy.
It's no use, Jimmy. You're having no more pets, and that's final.
Oh, Mum.
Don't start crying. Tears won't change my mind.
Oh,
Jimmy, stop crying. You've heard what your mother says now. The mouse goes back to where it came from.
All right. But I think you're all cruel, making a poor little mouse live in a rubbish dump.
It's going to live in Ossie's house.
That's what I mean, in a rubbish dump.
Yes?
Hello, Mr. Higginbottom.
Oh, it's you, is it? What do you want apart from causing trouble?
I want to see Ozzy, please, Mr. Higginbottom. Is he in?
No, he's not. He's gone for his trumpet lesson.
Oh, I thought he was packing up the trumpet after what his teacher said.
What do you mean, what his teacher said?
Well, he told Ozzy he made a better noise when he blew his nose.
We'll hear what noise you make when I clout your ear in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Higginbottom, but that's what Ozzy told me.
Well, he's not in, so you can go home and annoy your grandfather. Hold tight, Wad.
Me granddad's not in either. He's gone to have his hair cut.
Oh, aye. I forgot. It's February.
Well, I've got something to give Ozzy.
Well, give it to me.
Oh, here you are then. But be careful you don't squash it.
What is it?
A mouse.
Oh, take it away. I'm not holding that horrible thing.
But it's Ozzy's. My mum said I've got to give it back to him.
Oh, well, fetch it in the house and put it in the cage with the others.
Oh, all right, Mr. Higginbottom.
Come in here in the parlour. Now, where's he keep that cage?
Here it is on the floor, Mr. Higginbottom, next to the empty beer bottles.
Oh, aye, aye. Well, stick it in there.
It's a big parlour, isn't it, Mr. Higginbottom?
It's only the usual size.
I suppose it looks bigger without having any furniture in.
That'll do. It's cleared out so I can do some decorating. And you can clear out now as well, because I want to go down to the vet.
Why, what's wrong with you?
Look, any more of your jokes and I'll give you your head in your hands to play with.
No, I mean, is it the mice?
No, I'm taking me greyhound down. I'm going to have it put to sleep.
Oh. Poor thing. Has it broken its leg?
No, my heart. I've fed it and trained it for 3 years and it's never won a race yet. I'm wasting no more of my money.
Oh, Mr. Higginbottom, that's cruel.
Look, it's no use as a pet. It eats us out of house and home. I've got to get rid of it.
Well, I'll buy it off you.
How much have you got?
9pence.
Well, keep that and buy him a dog biscuit. You can have him for nothing.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Higginbottom.
Your mother won't thank me when she sees how it eats. Anyway, you can have its lead and its feeding bowl as well. So slip in the kitchen and ask Mrs. Higginbottom for the bowl.
Righto.
Now, where's he keep that lead? Oh, here it is, round the wife's mac.
Mrs. Higginbottom says I can't have the dog's bowl just yet.
Why not?
She's making you a steak pudding.
Eh? Get out of it.
Now, come on. There's a good dog. Just through the garden and we're there. Shh. Be quiet. I'm going to hide you in Grandad's greenhouse. It's nice and warm in there. Come on. In you go. That's it. You'll be all right now. Hey, come away from there. Don't eat those. They're me granddad's early daffodils. Unless the last year's coming up a bit late. Hey, give it over. Get down. Hey, stop licking me face. I'm not a lollipop. Shh. I said be quiet. You're a greyhound. You should know how to keep your trap shut. Daddy wouldn't buy me a bow wow, bow wow.
What are you doing?
Oh, nothing, Susan.
I saw you coming out of Grandad's greenhouse.
Yes, that's right. I was, seeing if it was warm enough.
Warm enough? For what?
So the slugs won't catch cold.
Oh, you are funny, I don't think.
How can you think? You've got no brains.
You've got no manners. And if I were Mother, I'd make you behave at home.
If you were Mother, I'd leave home. Oh, go and meet your boyfriend, Bashful Billy. He thinks you're nice.
At least he knows how to speak to a lady.
So do I. Go and get one and I'll show you.
Oh, get in the house. Go and boil your head.
Can I use your mouth for a gas oven? How much is that dog in the window? The one with the knot in his tail. How much is that? Oh, hello, Grandad.
Oh, Jimmy. There's a cup of tea in the pot if you want it.
Oh, no thanks, Grandad. Anything in the paper?
Oh, no, not a thing.
Let's see what's on at the pictures next week.
Oh, all right. I suppose I'll have to take you, as usual. But no cowboys this time.
Well, here's one. An animal picture. Will you take me to see this?
Which one?
Where it says, the most exciting picture of the year. It's about a kitten.
Who's in it?
Bridget Bardot.
Oh, no, Jimmy. No, I don't think I could take you to see that.
Why not? You took me to see Lassie. You remember when she was locked in the burning shed and you cried all over your chalk eyes?
I did not.
Well, that's the washing up done. I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes.
Shall I get the stool for you to put your feet on, Mum?
No, thanks, love.
Oh, it's no trouble, Mum.
What are you up to? You did take that mouse back, didn't you?
Oh, yes, Mum.
Good.
Oh, Susan isn't half frightened of mice, isn't she?
Well, most girls are.
She's not frightened of dogs, though.
No.
Well, maybe I should have had a dog.
Oh, no, you don't.
I nearly had you that time, Pat.
Don't you like dogs, Mum?
Yes, but you're not having one.
Oh, Charlie Thompson's mother let him have one.
Yes, well, I'm not Charlie Thompson's mother.
No, if you were, I'd have a dog.
Now, Jimmy, you've heard what your mother said. Mind you, Pat, a dog is different from
Now,
a
Father,
mouse.
don't you start.
Oh, I'm not saying he should have one. I was just thinking about when I was a boy. My father never had a dog, so whenever I could, I was over at my uncle's farm because he used to send me out to round up his sheep.
Why, hadn't your uncle got a dog either?
Listen, I've heard enough. Once and for all, you're not having a pet until I decide that you're old enough to take care of it. Now, that's that.
Oh, all right. But I'll tell you this, when I'm 21, I'll walk in here with the biggest elephant you've seen. You'll be all right here, Lightning. You couldn't find a better house. Mr. Craythorpe loves animals. You'll be happy here. He's got a canary, 2 goldfish, a tortoise, and his sister. But just sit down here till I call you. Sit. Now sit. Sit. Good boy, Lightning. Are you in, Mr. Craythorpe?
Oh, James, come in.
I've got a friend with me.
Oh, bring him in as well.
You sure you don't mind?
Not at all. The more the merrier.
Come on, boy. In we go.
I I'm here in the breakfast room.
Oh, what, at lunchtime?
Oh, I eat all my meals in here. Would you care for a lamb chop? I've just cooked some of the... Oh, a dog. My, he's a big fellow, isn't he?
Oh, yes, but he's very friendly.
Oh, is he? Come here, boy. No, come to Uncle Theodore.
Go on, Lightning.
Down, boy, down. Oh, what's happened?
You've been struck by lightning.
Oh, silly me. I fell over the chair. He's very affectionate, isn't he?
I think he likes you. Look, he's holding your hand.
Yes, between his teeth.
I think he's trying to tell you he's hungry.
Well, I'll get him some scraps from the kitchen. Let go, boy.
Come here, Lightning. Good boy.
I won't be a moment. We'll get something nice for him.
I knew you'd like Mr. Craythorpe, Lightning. Hey, get down. Get off that table. Ooh, heck.
Here we are. I found a bone.
Well, I think you better have it. He's just pinched your chops.
My goodness. Naughty Lightning. James, what are you doing with him? Apart from getting him free meals.
Well, you see, he's really Mr. Higginbottom's dog.
No wonder he's hungry.
And do you know, Mr. Craythorpe, just because Lightning hadn't won a race, he was going to have him put to sleep.
Oh, how inhuman. The brute.
So I said I'd keep Lightning, and he gave him to me.
Bravo, James. That was a fine gesture.
Oh, I'm glad you think so, because I want to leave him here.
Oh, I see. But he's your dog, James.
Yes, I know, but my man won't let me have a dog. So I thought he could stay here till I can talk around.
Well, I'd like to keep him, James, but I'm afraid there's a snag.
You've run out of lamb chops.
No. My sister would never allow me to have a dog in the house.
Well, he could sleep in the wash house.
Oh, she wouldn't have a dog near her.
Don't tell me she sleeps in the wash house.
No, she dislikes dogs, and the house is in her name. So if she says no animals, I have to abide by it. I had a terrible row getting my goldfish in the house, but I was adamant.
Well, I didn't think you'd let us down, Mr. Craythorpe.
Oh, James, really,
Come on, Lightning. Back to horrible Higginbottom. And he'll drag you to the vet, and the vet will put you to sleep, and nobody cares about anything.
No, James. No, he can't go back there.
Oh, good. He can stop here, then.
No. There must be another way. Now, surely your mother wouldn't mind. She's such a nice person.
She is to you. Hey, that's an idea. You take the dog to our house, say it's yours, my mum will like it, and you can give it to me.
That's it. Wait a minute. No, I couldn't tell your mother a fib.
What about when she spilled the pepper in the dinner? You said it was delicious. Then you came in the kitchen and drank 2 jugs of water.
That was different. I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
You're not bothered about hurting mine. Wait a minute. If I gave Lightning to you, you wouldn't be telling a fib.
James, you've solved it.
Oh, but don't forget to give him back to me.
No, I won't.
Good. Come here, Lightning. Theodore Craythorpe, this is your dog. Mr. Craythorpe, stop running with Lightning. I can't keep up with you.
It's the dog that's running with me. Steady, boy. Steady. Whoa!
He's a greyhound, not a racehorse.
James, you take the lead.
Not likely. It's your dog. Don't forget, you've got to walk him round the park yet to give me time to get home.
Well, I hope he doesn't keep pulling like this.
If he sees a cat, he'll have you up a tree.
That's better. Good boy. Put that down. Oh, nasty. He's chewing some orange peel. Oh, my goodness.
Has he swallowed it?
No, I mean the vicar.
The vicar's chewing orange peel?
No, he's seen me. Good afternoon, Vicar.
Good afternoon, Theodore. What's this you've got?
A greyhound.
I can see that. I didn't know you went in for greyhound racing.
Who, me?
I always thought you were against gambling.
But I don't gamble.
Oh, you mean the dog doesn't go on the racetrack?
Oh, yes, but he never wins. He lost the last 7 races, hasn't he, Mr. Craythorpe?
Yes, but no, James.
I'm shocked, Theodore. And you, my deputy organist.
Well, look, look, Vicar, in a nutshell, I own the dog at the moment, but I'm going to give it away.
Good.
He's giving it to me.
To a boy? Theodore. So you're going to start him gambling now, are you?
No, Vicar, you're not with it.
Pardon? Who are you, boy?
Jimmy Clitheroe.
Oh, I remember you. You were once in the choir for 3 days. And that included the choir boys outing.
Well, the choir master kicked me out just because the other lads dared me to sing it during the Harvest Festival.
Sing what?
Yes, we have no banana.
You find that amusing, Theodore?
Yes. Oh, no. How could you, James? I think you'd better run along home.
Righto, Mr. Craythorpe. Give me 5 minutes before you come in. Goodbye, Vicar.
Before you go, remember, young man, there's a time and a place for humour. If you want to crack jokes, you should be on the stage.
That's what the organist said when he stopped laughing. Oh, heck, Susan. What time is it?
It's nearly 3 o'clock for the 3rd time.
Oh, where is he?
Stop climbing all over the settee. I'm trying to do my nails.
Ooh, it doesn't half pong, that paint you put on.
It isn't paint. It's nail varnish.
Why do you put it on?
Because it makes my nails look better. It covers the cracks.
Pity they don't make it for your face.
Ha, ha. Keep still. I'll have it all over my fingers.
Ooh, what a horrible colour. It looks as though your hands are dripping with blood. Dracula's daughter.
What do you know about nail varnish? You're too young to appreciate it.
Oh, am I?
Who did the crossword in my paper?
It wasn't me, Grandad.
Oh, I don't know.
Susan, that nail varnish is a bit vivid, isn't it?
Grandad, you're too young to appreciate it.
Don't be old-fashioned, Grandfather.
Well, it's a bit startling, isn't it?
That's what I told her. She looks like a vulture having a jam butty.
Oh, that's a good one.
Father, will you be going out this afternoon?
Well, I was thinking about it. What's the weather like? What's this?
What?
Coming up the path, Theodore Craythorpe with a greyhound.
Good heavens, you're right.
A greyhound? Oh, that's not like Mr. Craythorpe.
I don't know. They've both got the same nose. I'll let him in, Mum.
All right.
Craythorpe's coming out of his shell. Greyhounds. He'll be playing snap next.
Oh, Father.
Hello, Mr. Craythorpe. This is a surprise. We never expected you. Come in.
If you'll excuse me, I'll go and do my nails in the other room.
I hope you don't mind me popping in like this, but when you're cooped up all day in a kennel with a few bones, you do need exercise.
Yes, but there was no need to bring the dog with you.
Take no notice of Father, Theodore.
He's quite a good-looking old dog, isn't he?
Yes, you should see him when he's got his kilt on.
Theodore, did you say his name was Lightning?
Yes, that's right.
Doesn't Higginbotham run a greyhound under the name of Lightning?
Yes, this is it. I mean...
Oh, Mr. Craythorpe, you blabbermouth.
You mean that this is Mr. Higginbottom's dog?
No, it's mine.
Oh, you bought it?
No, he gave it to someone, and they gave it to me, and I'm giving it to James. No, I thought...
Oh, don't some mothers have them?
Look, what is all this, Theodore?
I think there's been a bit of a conspiracy going on here.
Oh, well, we can't keep the secret any longer, James.
What do you mean, we can't? I've never made a wrong move yet.
Come on, Theodore, out with it. What Jimmy's been up to.
Well, Higginbottom gave the dog to Jane.
What, Jimmy? You had no right to accept it.
You deserve a good spanking and ignoring your mother's orders.
Well...
I think he deserves a medal.
What?
Just because the poor dog couldn't win races, Higginbottom was going to have the little chap put to sleep. But James stepped in and saved its life. A noble effort.
Never mind the commercial. Can I have the dog?
No, that puts a different complexion on things now, doesn't it, Pat?
Well, I suppose it is rather different, yes.
Do give James another chance. Let him keep Lightning as a pet.
If it means saving the dog from that layabout Higginbotham, I say we should.
All right, Jimmy, you win.
Oh, thanks, Mum, and Grandad. Mr. Craythorpe, you're a pal. I'll see you right with the vicar.
Oh, I'll get it, Mother. It might be Billy.
All right, thank you, Susan. Now, listen to me, Jimmy. As long as that dog stays here, you've got to look after it. Do you understand?
Oh, I will, Mum. I'll brush him and take him walks. I'll even teach him to carry Grandad's empties back.
That'll do.
Come in. Mother, it's Mr. Higginbottom.
Oh?
I hope you don't mind me dropping in, but I've just come for my dog.
Whose dog? Lightning belongs to me.
Look, I don't want any arguments. Let's have it.
Just one moment. You gave the dog to James.
Who's talking to you, ferret face?
Now, look here, Higginbotham. You're not in your own house now.
No, you can breathe in here.
Shut up and give me that dog.
Mr. Higginbottom, I'll thank you to lower your voice in my house.
Oh, I'm sorry, missus. I just want the dog.
Well, you're not taking him, you big bully. Mr. Craythorpe, throw him out.
Now, look here.
Shut up. Look, will you get this kid out of the way before I belt him?
Just come in the hall, Higginbotham, and I'll talk to you. Man to man. Come on.
All right.
Now, if you're looking for trouble...
I don't want trouble. Look, I did give the lad the dog, but there's a bloke from the greyhound track, and he wants the dog to train the youngsters, and he's offered me a £5.
A £5, eh? All right. You can have the dog.
Thanks, Mr. Sinclair. You're a gent.
But it'll cost you £1 to buy it back.
You're Scotch.
Now then.
All right. The bloke's waiting. There you are. £1.
Here you are, then. Take your dog. And take it and clear out of here.
Oh, Grandad, you traitor. You promised. And now you let him take the dog to the vet.
He's going to have a good home.
That's more than I've got. I'll run away. I'll join a circus. Then I'll have some pets.
Look, the dog will be fine. I made him give me £1 for you.
I don't want £1.
Yes. Here you are. Now, away you go down to the pet shop and buy yourself a nice wee puppy.
Oh, James, isn't that wonderful? Now, what kind of dog do you fancy?
Well, Charlie Thompson's is nice. It's got thick hair all over its face. A mug rump terrier.
That's a new one on me. A mug rump?
Yes, its hair's so long you can't tell its mug from its rump. I just came back to tell you I got the puppy all right. I call him Spot. The man said it's a real thoroughbred mongrel. I was only kidding Mr. Craythorpe about the mug rump. He's a clever little puppy, is Spot. Mind, he hasn't found out where the bathroom is yet. He doesn't half eat. This morning he had a bowl of milk, corned beef, 2 pieces of coal, and Grandad's left slipper. Mr. Higginbottom saw Spot yesterday, and he teased him. He said he wasn't big enough to be a dog. Spot bit his ankle. I said, don't get cross, Mr. Higginbottom. After all, he's only a nipper. Ta-ta!
In that recording of the Clitheroe Kid, you heard Peter Sinclair, Patricia Burke, Leonard Williams, Diana Day, Peter Goodright and Tony Melody, with Jimmy Clitheroe as the kid himself. The theme music was written by Alan Roper and played by the BBC Northern Dance Orchestra under the direction of Alan Ainsworth, with Jimmy Leach at the electronic organ. The recorded programme was written by James Casey and Frank Roscoe and produced in the north of England by James Casey.
Written by Bob Block, who would later have success with the children's series Rent-A-Host. The sitcom, called That's My Boy, was no real departure from radio. It was a continuation of the Clitheroe Kid in all but name, with just a few superficial changes to keep the BBC, and its producer and writer, from contemplating any legal complaints. That's My Boy, which was set to go out just after 4 o'clock in the afternoons, teamed Clitheroe with Derek Guyler as his father, June Monkhouse as his mother and Vicky Harrington as his older sister, along with Gordon Rowlings as the Danny Ross stand-in as the nice, but dim friend of the family. The plots followed the pattern well established by the Clitheroe Kid, with Jimmy variously obsessed with football games, pets, making extra pocket money, or finding more food.
Didn't think I'd see you sneaking out of my bedroom, did you? Where were you
Let
going?
go of me.
Look, you've been acting funny ever since you went out to buy a budgergar this morning.
Let go of me.
What are you up to? Look, I want an explanation and I want the truth.
Well, make your mind up. You can't have both.
What are you doing with my pillow?
If you must know, I wanted the feathers out of it to line a bird's nest.
A bird's nest? Don't be ridiculous. Budgergars don't live in nests. They live in cages.
I never said anything about a budgie, did I?
What do you mean you didn't say anything about a budgie? I distinctly saw Dad give you the money to buy a budgergar.
He did, and I got one. But on the way back from the pet shop, I met Charlie Wainwright. You know, he's the one whose father's dead rich. And he offered to buy it from me.
You mercenary little blighter. How much did he give you for it?
£500.
What?
Well, he didn't pay me in money. He gave me 2 hedgehogs worth £250 each.
You wait till Mother hears about it. She won't let you keep those dirty flea carrots in the house.
I haven't got the hedgehogs now, see? I did a swap with Ted Hoskins. He gave me a pair of roller skates with the ball bearings missing and a compass with no needle, worth £450 altogether.
But I thought you said the hedgehogs were worth $500.
Well, I didn't allow for devaluation. It's been a bad year for hedgehogs.
Well, I'm sure Dad'd be delighted to hear that you spent his money on a load of junk instead of a nice little bird.
That's what you think, my dear sister. You remember Harry Brown?
If you mean the little twerp who borrowed your bike and broke it, yes.
Well, he made it up to me today. We did a smashing swap. I've got a bird that's worth a lot more money than the one I got from the pet shop.
Another budgergar?
Well, not exactly. He gave me this.
Have you gone off your rocker or something? You can't keep a whacking great thing like that in the house. Mom, Jimmy's got a goose in his room.
I was going to tell me Mum myself, you blinking telltale.
Mother's people am. Just wait till I tell her about this.
Rotten sneak. If you do, I'll tell everybody I saw you sitting up in bed with a mud pack on your face.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, wouldn't I? You just listen. My sister wears a mud pack in bed. My sister wears a mud pack in bed.
You little beast, you'll apologize for that.
Give me my ice cream.
Not until you say you're sorry.
You just give me that ice cream. Now look what you've done. You've got fur all over it.
Don't you ever think of anyone but I should think they could hear you two at the end of the street. What's all the shouting about? You might well ask, Mother. Take a look in the wardrobe at my dear brother's latest pet. Well, well.
So that's the result of your little trip to the pet shop. You certainly got yourself a king-size budgerigar, didn't you, love?
I had a smashing bit of luck, Mum. My pal gave her to me.
With a pal like that, I should think you need all the luck you can get. Now, Jimmy, you must know you can't keep a great thing like that in the house.
Oh.
Apart from the inconvenience, it wouldn't be fair to the cat. Now, you just take it away and we'll say no more about it.
Say no more, but Mother, he sneaked that goose in here. And look at the mess he's made. He was going to pull my pillow to pieces to make a nest for it.
The boy's only 12. They get some strange ideas at that age. You must show a bit of tolerance, Janet.
He was using your fur coat to keep the goose warm.
You little whore!
Lisa, I didn't spill ice cream.
Oh,
it wasn't my fault.
Oh, never mind whose fault it was.
No,
Look, sponge it off before it stains. Quick. Oh. I don't know what your dad's going to say when he sees that great thing.
Oh, but
He was
Mum.
expecting a budgerigar. He was looking forward to teaching it to talk. I don't think he'd get much conversation out of him.
My dad said it was going to be my budgie.
The last one was yours, and you know how daft he was about it. He loved that bird, and it was a nasty shock to him when it came to such a sad end. And we all know whose fault that was.
It wasn't my fault. You told me to clean the cage out.
I didn't tell you to use a vacuum cleaner. Now, hurry up and get her out of there.
Oh, Mum, can I keep her?
No, you can't.
Oh.
Go.
Ah, hello, my poppet. Not much doing today, so I thought I'd come home early. Tell me, did Jimmy bring home the bird all right?
Oh, yes, Dad. He certainly brought a bird home.
Oh, good. Well, I hope it's a male budgie. They make the best talkers, you know. Now then, Jimmy, look what I've got. Yes.
Surprise, surprise. I think you'll be a bit cramped in there.
Oh, really, it's not fair, you know. Other fathers have normal sons who bring home nice, normal little pets like budgerigars, but my son has to bring home a great, fat, animated feather duster.
Oh, I know you're disappointed, George.
Well, of course I'm disappointed. I expected a sweet little bird that would flutter around and settle on my head. That flaming thing sat on my head and I've a broken neck.
Don't shout, Dad. You'll upset her. All right, hand him over. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes, you do. I've just been looking through my room. The pillow wasn't the only thing you took, was it?
Jimmy, what are you doing with Janice's panties?
Well, I only borrowed them. Harry Brown said she might start laying any time, and you... Well, you know how delicate eggs are.
Well?
Well, if she was to lay an egg on this hard lino, it might break, so I thought if I could get her to wear these, it might act as a sort of safety net.
Now, look, Jimmy, I'm sorry I blew up just now, lad, but a goose isn't the sort of bird you can keep as a pet. I'm sorry, she'll have to go.
Oh, but Dad...
There are no buts, thank you. I've got far too many worries without having that thing running around the house. I'm a builder, not a poultry farmer.
But, Dad, pets can be educational. Our biology teacher said so.
Oh?
By studying an animal in the act of delivering its young, a child can gain insight into the meaning of life. Parents should encourage this, even at the cost of some inconvenience.
Well, judging by that statement, I don't suppose that your biology teacher has ever been a father.
I don't suppose she has.
Right, young man, I expect that thing out of the house in an hour, do you understand? Oh, Hilda, dear, remind me to write to Jimmy's headmaster, will you?
What for?
What for? Look, Hilda, dear, I pay rates and taxes. I buy Jimmy's school books and his uniform. I go to considerable expense, don't I, dear, so that the government can help my son to get an insight into the meaning of life. And his biology teacher says it can't be accomplished unless we keep a pregnant goose in the house.
I'm sorry, old girl, but if my dad says you've got to go, I can't keep you. I couldn't be so deceitful. Oh, I don't know, though. Bert Bamford, aren't you ever going to grow up?
Not if I can help it. Would you kindly inform Master Builder Clitheroe that his general foreman would like to see him?
You find it embarrassing he's in the bath. Oh, Mum's furious because he's going to be late for dinner as usual. Oh, do help yourself to some coffee.
Oh, very much, yes. You expecting burglars?
No, it's Jimmy. I'm worried about him, Bert.
Huh?
He's got a bird in his room.
Get away, too young.
It's true. It's a goose.
Hey?
Dad told him to get rid of it yesterday, but he's been hiding it. I think he's trying to prove that he can keep it without causing any bother. Oh, I suppose I ought to tell Dad, but I haven't got the heart. He's really fond of that goose, this daft little thing.
It's my old pal, Jimmy. I can't hear anything up there. Perhaps they've moved it.
Come on, old girl. Have plenty to eat. When you lay your egg, you'll have another beak to feed. Come on. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll throw some of my baked potatoes out in a minute. Come on, then. Jimmy! Yes, sir?
No, I feel I've already eaten.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Hello, Jim, lad.
Hello, Bert.
Yeah. Shall I give you a hand with it?
Oh, thanks.
No, I wouldn't bother to wait, only I want to get Mr. Clitheroe's okay about fixing that roof in the morning.
Jimmy, how many times have I told you not to bolt your food?
Well, I'm hungry. Can I have another?
Oh, don't worry, I'll get it.
Oh, thanks, Bert.
Oh,
If I told those Johnson kids once, I've told them a dozen times, not to play cricket near our house.
Mr. Fred Cartwright on the phone.
Mr. Cartwright?
You know, the big building contractor is putting up that new block of offices in 4th Street. He wants to know if Mr. Clitheroe is interested in being a subcontractor.
Tell him to ring back when Dad's out of the bath.
He can't. He's flying to London in 15 minutes.
Right, Jimmy, run upstairs and get your dad out of the bath, quick.
Oh, Mum, you know he doesn't like being disturbed when he's having a bath. He's got a phobia about keeping clean. Hope it's not catching.
If I know Dad, he won't get out of the bath just for a phone call.
Well, tell him we've got some wonderful news for him. He needs to come down here quick. I'll tell Mr. Cartwright Dad's on his way down.
I thought I told you to close the back door.
Blimey, it must have been outside all this time. Come on, here you are then. Right, here, quick, here, boy.
Get out in the bath quick. I've got some news for you.
How many times have I told you about shouting through doors? Now, whatever it is, it can wait till I've finished.
But, Dad, this is smashing news. My mum said I've got to tell you straight away.
Oh, dear, all right. Well, hang on a minute.
Jimmy, have you told your dad he's wanted downstairs?
No.
Well, don't tell him just yet. Your ruddy goose is running around loose, and if he sees that, you've had it. I must be balmy sticking my neck out for you.
Bert, do something.
Oh. Well, what is this wonderful news you've got to me then, Jimmy?
It's raining outside.
Did you get me out of my bath just to tell me that?
Well, this morning at breakfast, you said the garden needed some rain, so I thought you might be worried about your sweet Williams.
Look, son, there's a draft sweeping around that door and cutting me like a knife. And the last thing that I am worried about are my sweet Williams. No. Oh. Oh, now, Jimmy, get us halfway up the stairs. I managed to get it in here. I tell you what, I'll park it outside.
Right, Mum.
Away!
Oh, Dad, get out of the bath. I really have got some news for you this time.
If you're going to tell me that it's raining again, I'll murder you, young man.
Cross me heart.
Jimmy.
It's urgent.
Jimmy.
Oh, no.
I dropped the flipping box and it got away. Look, you'll have to stall your dad a bit longer. Oh, right. Well, come on. What is it?
It stopped raining.
Oh, I've warned you that your practical jokes will go too far one of these days, haven't I? Now then, I will deal with you later.
Dad. Oh, I wonder if you take lads in the Foreign Legion.
Mr. Cartwright's taking playing up and Mum's going mad. Have you told Dad?
Well, no, but...
Dad, get out of the bath before it's too late.
Oh, leave me alone.
What do you mean, leave you alone? We've got some wonderful news for you.
Dennis, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, you know, playing tricks at your age.
It's no trick, and if you don't believe me, you can ask Bert.
Oh, all right. But I warn you, if it's another weather report, I shan't be responsible for my actions.
I've no idea geese were so hard to catch. I've put it in the cupboard this time.
Wouldn't you have been better in the garden shed?
You catch me going out there this weather. It's raining cats and dogs. Well... Oh, hello, Mr. Clitheroe. It isn't half raining outside. You are fired! Blimey, I know I take the can back for a lot of things, but you can't blame the weather on me.
Mr. Cartwright's waiting on the phone. He wants to offer you.
Cartwright, that's the man, the big builder. The boss speaks up.
Too late. Cut to death off to catch his plane.
Darling, but-
Don't worry, I've persuaded him to ring when he gets back.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that. Yes, well, now, perhaps I can finish my bath in peace.
Have a good bath, Dad.
Thank you. I wonder what time the Labour Exchange opens in the morning.
Don't be ridiculous. Dad can't do without you, and he knows it.
Hey, Bert!
Oh, no! Where's that dreaded bird gone this time?
Oh, no! Sylvia. From now on, this is going to be your very own nest. Whoop. There you are. And when you lay your egg, it'll go down there. Listen. There you are. And even if it's night time, I shall still hear the good news.
Sylvia. Oh, what a ridiculous name for a goose.
I think it's a very nice name. What's put you in such a bad temper?
I don't like being ignored by my own son. Told him to get rid of that stupid bird 2 days ago, and it's still here.
Now, Dad.
Now, don't you now Dad me. Now, why is it that nobody takes any notice of what I say in this family? Your mother, you, Jimmy, you're all the same. All the same. Even the cat won't get out of the chair when I tell it to.
Dad, I know Jimmy's obstinate, but be reasonable. He can't get rid of the goose until he's found somewhere for it to go.
By the way, Mr. Cartwright doesn't like Brussels sprouts.
Well, I must say that's really made my day. There's one thing I'm just dying to know about people. It's whether or not they like Brussels sprouts.
Oh, very funny. Look, Hilda, I know it's not a very exciting piece of information, but I don't want you to waste your time cooking Brussels sprouts for Mr. Cartwright when he comes to dinner tonight. What? When he comes to dinner tonight.
You know, there are times when I could cheerfully strangle you, George. Why didn't you tell me you'd invited him?
Well, I did. At least I left a message with Jimmy this morning on my way out. Didn't he tell you? Hello. Jimmy!
I'm quick enough, I'll avoid the fallout.
Jimmy! Jimmy!
Yes, Dad?
Why didn't you come right away?
Oh, I didn't hear you until you called the third time.
Do you recall my giving you a message for your mother this morning?
Oh, heck.
Oh, heck.
I meant to tell her, but I had to get the wood to make Sylvia's nest, and I forgot all about it.
You forgot all about it.
Oh, well, I've so many jobs to do for Sylvia, and everything was falling behind.
If you don't get out of here immediately, that's exactly where my hand is going to fall.
Yes, Dad. Can I have a drink of water?
Oh, yes, go away. Oh, we're in a right old pickle. I was going to do a Welsh rabbit tonight, but I can hardly give that to a man who might be going to give you thousands of pounds worth of business.
Oh, no, dear, of course not. Well, you'll just have to get some nice steak from the butcher's.
It's Wednesday afternoon, all the shops are shut.
Oh, no.
Oh, there must be some way of getting food when the shops are shut.
Sylvia, what are you doing here?
Oh, no, George. Oh, no.
Dad, you can't. You can't do it. You cannibal.
Yes, stop. Clitheroe, I wouldn't have come if I'd known you were going to ask me to do that. I mean, after all, I'm your general foreman, not a goose slaughterer. Yes, but look, Bert, I don't know how to kill a goose lamb, and anyway, you told me yourself that you lived on a farm when you were a child. I don't consider it part of my duties. Now, look, Bert, look. I'm your friend as well as your employer, aren't I? Now, let's put it this way, Bert. If you don't do it, lad, you're fired. Come on.
I've got something for you, Dad.
Oh?
Seeing as how you're responsible for what's going to happen to Sylvia, I think it's only right that you should take care of her orphan.
I'm sure you won't mind if your husband and I discuss a little business after dinner, will you, Mrs. Clitheroe?
Oh, of course not, Mr. Cartwright. Don't worry about Janice and me.
Nice bit of goose, this.
Very tasty. You must give me the name of your butcher. You know, it must have been a fine bird when it was alive. You know, it's funny when you come to think of it. Yesterday, that fellow was probably running around full of the joys of life.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Cartwright.
Something on your mind, Clitheroe?
On my mind? Oh, no, of course not, Mr. Cartwright. No. Won't you have another slice of Sylvia? I mean, a little bit more goose.
Oh, no, thank you. I've plenty here. Look. Here, what's the matter with you ladies? You're not eating either.
We're on a diet.
A diet, eh? Well, sooner you than me.
Bread, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Clitheroe.
Would you pass the apple sauce, darling?
yes,
Please,
of course.
thank you. No, darling. Thank you.
There seems to be a bit of a draft coming in behind me. Would anyone mind if I sat on that side of the table?
Oh, chap, why didn't you say so? The last thing I want you to do, Mr. Carter.
If you get
Over
a
there.
stiff neck,
Have you got a plate, darling? Thank you. Very much indeed, Mrs. Clitheroe.
Sorry to bother you.
Take a bite.
Sorry to cause you all that trouble.
No trouble
You
at all.
know,
Yes.
you get a bit of...
Jimmy, come and meet Mr. Cartwright. This is our son Jimmy, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, I never knew he had two children, Mrs. Clitheroe. He's a fine, big, strapping lad, isn't he?
He is, isn't he?
You know, Jimmy, you'd take a lot after your father. Now, never mind. Maybe I was mistaken. You look more like your mother.
Jimmy, you promised you wouldn't make a scene. Be quiet.
Oh, I'm afraid a friend of his passed away suddenly.
Oh, I am sorry.
Just to think this morning she was scratching in the garden for work.
You're getting hysterical. Stop it.
Oh, stop it. He murdered her.
That'll be quite enough of that, young man.
What, Jimmy? What are you doing?
I'm going to give her a decent burial.
How dare you?
Sorry, Mr. Cartwright.
Well, I'm so sorry about that, Mr. Cartwright, but you see, Jimmy's been keeping that goose in the house, and he got rather attached to it, I'm afraid.
What? That goose?
Yes.
We didn't want to tell you. We thought it might spoil your meal.
Oh, don't you worry about that. One goose is the same as another to me.
Oh, Jimmy, love, we'd no idea you were so upset about Sylvia. But I do think you're exaggerating a bit.
No, I'm not. Anybody else's son would have run away from home for less than this. How would you like it if I ran away and you had to call in the police and they started dragging the streets for me? It's not fair. That goose was ill, and I was trying to make her better. What was the use of giving her all that medicine?
Medicine? What medicine?
What do you give me when I'm ill? Shut up and think.
Over now. I have got your favourite sultana pudding, so you just sit there like a good boy.
That's right.
Right?
Good boy, good boy. Janice, dear love, turn on the radio, will you? A little bit of music might cheer us up, Mr. Cartwright.
Very
Yes.
good idea,
Yes.
Mr. Clitheroe. Let's be right.
Lunch ready?
About 10 minutes. Have you seen Jimmy?
No, he had breakfast and went out when anyone was up.
Oh, I expect he wants to be alone. He's still upset about losing his goose, poor love. Oh, Bert, whatever's that?
It's all right, it's Sylvia. I hadn't the heart to kill her yesterday, so I drove down to my cousin's farm. You owe me 50 bob for the one you ate last night.
Bert, why on earth didn't you tell us it wasn't Sylvia last night when you brought it?
Well, I didn't want to get the sack twice in 1 week.
Hello? In the kitchen, dear.
All right, love.
No!
I thought it might cheer Jimmy up, you know, if I got him another goose to take Sylvia's place. Well, good gracious, Bud, did you have the same idea? No, this is Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Oh, two geese. You'll have to get rid of them.
Get rid of them? What do you mean?
Well, I don't want them frightening my new pet.
Jimmie released a comedy record in December 1965. The following two songs are from that record. They All Blame Jim and Jim Plays Hooky.
Who made these dirty marks on the bathroom curtains? Jimmy! Jimmy! Well, you said I'm to make the towel dirty, Mum. Oh, heck. I've done it again. No matter how hard I try to be good and do the things that a good lad should, everything gets misunderstood. And they all blame Jim. The vicar was worried 'cause his hair was thin. He said he wanted something to make it stop in. Someone put glue in his brilliant tin. And they all blame Jim. It seems that anything that happens anywhere at all is blamed on me, but I can't see that it's my fault at all. Grandad says his razor is no good. It wouldn't shave the hairs from a cold rice pud, but it was all right when I chopped the wood. So I can't blame Jim. Oh, it seems I can't do all right. Someone put tadpoles in the sink and painted all blue budgie pink. So who do they blame? Well, who do you think? And they all blame Jim. Someone took the beads from Susan's hat, put them on a cake for me Auntie Pat. She hiccuped twice and shot the cat. And they all blame Jim. My mum is buying me a cycle, at least she said she would, as long as I can prove to her that I've been very good. So I've tidied all my things into the drawer, but where we roller skates are I'm not too sure. Oh, flippin' egg. Someone left them on the bathroom floor. And they all blame Jim. Jimmy, get from under my feet while I get your tea ready. Why don't you go in the garden and play with your spaceship you got bought for your birthday? Oh, all right, Mum. I'll have a trip to the moon. That lad, a trip to the moon. What next? Ready for blast off? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jimmy, come back. Your tea'll be cold. Hey, that lad. When I woke up this morning, it was such a lovely day. Much too nice to go to school, I thought I'll stay away. So with my shoes in my hand, I crept out of the house. I tiptoed quickly down the lane into the field beyond, thinking that I'd have a swim in Farmer Johnson's pond. Then I heard somebody coming, so I had to hide in case they saw me and told the teacher. So I ran and jumped and landed, but I wasn't very lucky, 'cause I finished up flat on my face in a ditch both deep and mucky. And me with me best pants on, ooh, me mum'll be wild. Then I pulled myself from out the ditch, my shoes were dripping full. When charging across the field I saw old Farmer Johnson's bull. What a right day off this, I thought. I put me best foot forward to beat the bull across. 'Twas a toss-up who would get there first, but the old bull won the toss. Well, if I went to school now, I couldn't sit at my desk. I struggled on, determined that I'd get me swim somehow, then tripped and fell into a heap where once there'd been a cow. Oh, I'm sure the teacher wouldn't let me in school in this state. I sat there feeling miserable and looking like a wreck, when suddenly a bee decides to sting me on my neck. Oh, that's enough, I thought. I'm going back home to my mum and tell her everything. By the time I got back to the house, I felt chilly in the breeze. Mum said, "Is that our Jimmy?" And I answered with a sneeze. I must have got a cold dibby doze. The doctor came, said keep him warm in bed today and Sunday. It's just a chill, I'm sure he will be fit for school on Monday. Then it dawned on me. Oh, heck. I'd played the hop, been duck stone tossed, and I felt such a fool, forgetting it was Saturday when no one goes to school. Ooh, don't some brothers have a chew?
Just Jimmy was a follow-up format to That's My Boy, focusing on the naughty schoolboy played by Jimmy Clitheroe. Also features Molly Sugden and Danny Ross. Schoolboy Jimmy Clitheroe likes all the normal things boys like as they approach their teenage years, and has a particular speciality of getting into trouble and causing confusion whenever remotely possible. Inspired by the hit BBC radio sitcom The Clitheroe Kid, Just Jimmy sees the northern lad living with his mother and cousin, Danny. It ran from 1964 till 1968.
Come up, you daft nut. Oh. Go away. Can you ring back? I'm engaged. You what? Who? Oh, I'm sorry, love, I didn't realise it was you. Yeah, I got the tickets for tonight. Yeah, and guess what? I bought it. My motorbike I was telling you about, I've got it in the hall now. Did I? 'Cause bashed the door in, I got up it and wheeled it in. You what?
I said, how did you manage to persuade your auntie to let you have a motorbike? Oh, Danny, you'll have to tell us sooner or later. It was bad enough when she didn't want you to go potholing. Yes, I know you told her in the end. But it was a fine time with your head stuck between two stalagmites.
Nah, don't worry, I'll tell her as soon as she comes in. I'll tell you what, I'll be round at your house in about half an hour. Yeah, but I'm just fixing my kickstarter. No, it works all right, only every time I kick it, he kicks me back. Yeah, I'll see you in half an hour then. All right, ta-da. Oh, wait. What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm fed up. I've just struck an comical crisis.
Struck a what?
5 bob, will you jump at them roller skates?
I always do, you leave them in such funny places.
I swapped a train set for them. Then I sold them for £1 and bought them back for 15 bob, and then I sold them again for 10 bob, and last week I bought them back for 7 and 6. And now my best customer's got a trade gap.
You can't skate, I know one of them's got a wheel off.
Oh, they aren't for skating on, they're for buying and selling.
Fine. Look, go outside and play, and if you're looking for trouble, go and fight little Billy Jackson like a good boy.
Now finish with Billy Jackson. Forever. Well, until next Friday when it's his turn to pay for the pictures. Oh, he's a mangy old skinflint. 3 and 6 was all I could get him up to. And he knows I want 5 bob for tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, you're not still going on about that football match.
It's all right for you. All you're interested in is girls. Cuddling and canoodling. It's all round our school about you and that blonde out of the supermarket.
What? You mean just because one of your pals called me kissing her on Canal Bank?
Well, it's not that. I was telling everybody you were only going out with her for the green stamps. It'll be the last straw if I don't get to go to this match. They're all going out of our class, you know.
Ah, you can miss one match, surely.
Well, Miss Rovers and United. Mr. Dirtiest team in the league. They'll be throwing orange peels, dried peas, the lot. It'll be a massacre. And you want me to miss it? You're not much of a sportsman, are you?
Oh, look, I've got troubles of my own. Now go on, get outside and play.
Get off. I'm not going out. I think I'll go upstairs to bed.
You're not going upstairs, not just yet.
Why not?
Why not? Well, I'm doing a little job.
Aye. What's going on that Jim doesn't know about?
Not a thing. Honestly, I'll give you my word.
Is your word worth $5?
Of course it. Every second's worth. Now listen, you're not going through that hallway. There's something out there, and it's a surprise. Now look, just to help a pal, would you go out and play?
Oh, all right then. I'll go out and play with Bertie Gilmore.
That's right. You'll enjoy yourself.
But,
You're a good lad.
In case you've gone out before I get back, I'll take the front door key.
You know that,
Hello.
Get out, Jim. He's not a bad lad. I wonder what he wants that key. Key. He's got that key!
What year is it then?
Oh, right. Look, remind me to do something about your next birthday. Like, see, you never get one.
It's not me that you've got to worry about. It's my mother. She'll go hairless when she knows you've bought a bike. Especially if I tell her you've been mending it on the whole carpet.
Oh, I only brought it in so the neighbours wouldn't see it. I wanted to get her in a good mood before I told her, but now Blabbermouth knows, everybody'll know.
I don't need to tell her. I mean, I'm pleased you've got a bike.
Yeah, hey, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, it's no skin off your nose. Yeah, I might even give you a ride on it one day.
You're giving me a ride on it tomorrow?
I'm giving you a ride. You are?
You're running me to the football match?
I am not.
All right, then. We'll just count the stains on the carpet.
Oh.
There's a big oily one for a start, and then we'll just wait.
No, look, it's not. All right, you villain, you win. Yeah, how are we going to tell your auntie?
We don't. Well, not until Sunday. You know she always likes 40 winks on the settee after she's finished washing up. Well, just when she's going to doze off, that's when you tell her. Well, don't you see? If you wait until she's going to sleep, she'll be too tired to argue.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, she's here. Hey, look, you shift it, move it, hide it, chuck a coat over it, do anything, only get it out of the road. Where am I going? Oh, you're frozen. Yeah, just a minute.
What have you locked the door for? The rent man's been.
You know, I was just taking precautions. Well, I get frightened, you know. It's force of habit.
What's the matter with your hands? Has there been a fall of soot?
Not yet. I've just been doing a little odd job. I thought you'd gone to the Women's Guild meeting.
I've been. When I got there, I found it was next week. I could have sworn I put a cross on that calendar.
There wasn't a cross on it when I put one on to remind me I'm taking Wilma out tonight.
You silly gubbins, no wonder I got mixed up. What's the point of us both putting crosses on it?
Both putting it... But it just shows we're affectionate. Yeah, Auntie, why don't you come and sit on the sofa and have a nod off?
Well, I'll take a weight off my feet, that's for sure. I missed the bus back and out to walk.
Well, 40 winks to do you good. On the treetop, when the wind blows.
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Wait a minute.
I don't get up.
Door locked. You black as fire back. Have a little nod off. Something's going on. What is it?
Nothing.
Jimmy, what's he been up to?
Nothing. Honestly, Auntie, he came in 10 minutes ago. He's been as good as gold and as quiet as a mouse. It's a motorbike.
Oh, come on, Mum. Don't just stand there. Climb on the pillion. I'm going now, Dad. I shan't be late.
Oh, well, have a good time, darling. Which one is it tonight?
Dining.
You remember Danny?
Oh, yes, I remember Danny.
Oh, don't sound so disapproving. He said he looked harmless enough when I brought him to tea.
That was before he knocked his second cup all over my tweed suit.
Poor Danny. It's good fun, really. He has been hysteric to some of the things he comes out with.
I know. I was asking him what he thought about the colour problem, and he said, oh, we're better off without it. Some of the programmes are bad enough in black and white.
That's Danny, all right.
Look, I can't pick your boyfriends for you, but I do insist that they bring you home at a respectable hour. Now, make sure he has you back here by 11 o'clock at the latest.
Yes, all right, Dad.
Jimmy, come inside and get your breakfast.
Don't do that. Oh, as if I hadn't enough on my mind without that.
I've got to get me practicing. These can win matches, you know. 50 good wrestlers behind the goal mouth can send the goalkeeper dizzy. Well, that's a few fried peas behind his hero.
Ooh, it beats me why you've got to get dressed up like that.
The Rovers trainer says I look posh in these togs. They're going to consider me for the mascot if the goat dies.
Go on, eat your plate. Hey, wait a minute. I thought you said it was an away match. How are you going to get there?
Oh, it's all arranged. My cousin Danny's taking me on his day off.
I hope so. You've got him to give you a lift on the back of that motorbike.
Oh, don't worry, Mum. I'll see as he doesn't do anything daft. If he goes too fast, I'll drag my foot.
I see now why you taught me into letting him keep it. Oh, I should have made him get rid of it at the start. I know I should.
But, Mum, you promised. As long as he didn't get into any bother with it.
When he comes down here, I shall ask him a few questions.
Better go and get him up.
Well, what for?
To give him a few give him a few instructions how to get to the football field.
Oh, who's that?
I'll get it. Oh, heck.
Now then, young man, is the head of the house in?
It's not trouble, is it?
Why do you ask?
Well, I'm usually the head of that.
Oh. No, it's not really trouble, just a routine inquiry, only we've found a motorbike.
Oh, well, we don't want it. We've got enough trouble with the one we've got.
Yes, well, that's really why I've called to see you, so, because we think the one we've found is the one that you've got.
Oh, don't tell me Flash Harry's made a mess of things again.
Flash Harry?
My cousin Danny. He's in love or something. He took his girlfriend out on his bike last night. I bet when he started canoodling, he'd forget all about his bike. He'd think he'd come on the bus.
Who is it, Jimmy? Oh, good gracious me, whatever's happened?
Oh, no, it's all right, madam, nothing to get upset about. If I could just have a few words with Flash Harry, the man who owns the motorbike.
I thought so. What's he been doing? Finishing up in a shop window?
No, he's finished up in a ploughed field.
You see? I told you that's where he'd be canoodling.
Get in the kitchen. This is nothing to do with you.
See, but how am I going to get to the match?
In the kitchen.
You can't do this to me.
Jimmy.
In the kitchen.
Now, tell me, exactly what has my nephew done with that motorbike?
Well, the full extent of his crimes appeared to be that he walked away and left it.
Oh, thank heaven for that. I'll never know where he got the sense from. Danny!
What?
You're wanted down here by a policeman.
Oh, flipping heck.
Officer, you have my full permission to be as severe with my nephew as your position will allow.
That's not much these days.
If it's anything to do with my motorbike, I can explain everything.
It is 5642 TJ, is it?
Well, it was.
Yes, well, would you mind telling us how it comes to be halfway across a ploughed field?
A plough? Is that where I left it? Well, it was dark, you see, and I shoved it for, me and my girlfriend had shoved it for about 3 miles, and then she broke her heel on my shoe, so I said to her, I said, you sit on it and steer, and I'll push. So we did, and we was going along like this, you see, I was pushing with my head down, and it was right bumpy, and after a bit I turned around, and I said, are you all right, love? And she wasn't. She fell off. Well, there weren't any lights, you see, so I just put my bike down and I went off to look for my girlfriend. Well, I found my girlfriend, but I couldn't find my bike.
You weren't canoodling by any chance, were you?
I didn't get the chance.
I see. Well, if you'd like to come down to the police station, you can have your bike, give that to the sergeant at the desk.
Yeah, that's on. Thank you very much. Hey, by the way, how did you get it going?
We put some petrol in it.
We shall thought of that. He put some petrol.
Well,
I'm sorry, Auntie.
don't be sorry. Just get rid of that motorbike. Sell it, give it, break it up, melt it down. I don't care what you do with it, but I don't want to see that machine again. Ever! Now, have I made myself quite clear?
Well, it's no use offering you a ride on it, then. Oh, dear me. I think he means it, Jim.
Don't talk to me. You've let me down, you have. I'm not going to get to the match.
No, I've forgotten all about the match.
Forgotten about it? What do you think I'm dressed up like this for? To sit me 11 plus?
Look, I'll tell you what, you just sit there and I'll think of something.
Oh, no, we can't do that. We'll be here all day. You sit down. I'll think of something. Now, come on. Anybody in?
To warn you about Daddy. He's absolutely furious. He almost telephoned the police when I had to ride home at midnight.
It'd have been wasting his time. They were too busy looking for my bike.
Well, he's definitely coming round this morning, so for goodness sake, be prepared.
Be prepared? I will. I'll be prepared. I'll get my scalp pole ready.
It's no laughing matter.
Oh, I'm laughing, am I? Ho, flipping ho. Isn't it marvellous? I pay nearly 20 quid to get a bike to take you out. I swim it for 3 miles, I walk another 4, and now my auntie's making me sell it. I'll probably get no more than 30 bob for it, and now your father's coming around to lynch me.
He has a point, bringing me home at 1:15 in the morning. I mean, it's not as if we were going steady or anything.
Hello, deserting the drowning rat?
Not at all. And if you're going to use metaphors, I think you'll find it's a sinking ship.
I know, and I'm going down with it.
Well, don't forget that I had to walk home, too. And the next time you ask me to go out with you, remind me to take a gallon of petrol.
Just go on. Hey, no, wait a minute. Oh, blow it. I don't know what to do for the best. She loves me. She loves me not. She hates me. She fancies me. Can't stand me. I'm fed up.
Right.
What?
Check this for snags. The mother says you've got to get rid of that bike, right?
Right.
You put an advert in the newspaper shop window, right?
Right.
Now somebody could want to buy it, right?
Right.
But before anybody bought it, they want a trial run, right?
Right.
Right. Somebody's going to take a trial run down to the United football ground. Right?
Right. You're wrong, that 50 miles. Who's going to shove it back? I can't leave it in a field again.
Petrol, remember?
Right.
I'll go and get it.
Oh, no, you needn't bother. I think I know who this might be. It'll be somebody else after me blood. Oh, dear, it was. Yeah, hello? Yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, thank you. Oh, dear, ain't that lucky? Well, that was a newspaper shop. There's a fella been inquiring about me advert. He sold his scooter and he wants to buy a motorbike.
Must be a mod off his rocker. Come in, you're expected.
Thank you.
You'd better come through to the sales department. Take a seat, sir.
Thank you. What did you mean when you said I was expected?
Oh, we always get out advance information on our clients, you know.
Oh, yes, I might have guessed. She's not here now, is she? Because if so, I want to see her.
Did you not pass her in the drive? She's standing there up on her backrest.
I certainly did not. I would have done something about it.
Oh, I must have taken her in the shed to give her a quick rub down.
Now look here, my lad. I'd hadn't better talk to your brother, is it?
No, my cousin, but he always leaves everything like this to me.
Oh, does he?
Now, I think you'll find her in good shape.
Well, I certainly hope so.
And I know she can go a bit too, because I heard him telling me mum she's very quick on hills.
Now look here, young man, if this is a joke, it's in very bad taste.
Oh, Jimmy, they'll help me with these parcels. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know we had company.
Oh, good morning.
It's Mr. Stockwell, isn't it? Well, how are things with you?
Very confused. I called here to have a serious talk with your nephew, but apparently your son is acting as diplomatic envoy.
Oh, well, if you've been trying to get sense out of the boy wonder, I'm not surprised you're confused. Jimmy, go and tell Danny it's wanted. Oh, but Mum, I haven't fixed the gentleman up with his trial run, and you can't deny him that.
Now, doesn't that confuse you?
No, I'm used to it. Jimmy, go and get Danny. Immediately. Now then, Mr. Stockwell, perhaps I can... Danny? No.
Hey, Jim, I've done it. I've put the petrol in and I've even had it going.
It struck a snag. My mum's come back, and I was doing so well with my sales talk, I nearly had him putting a deposit on it.
Who are you talking about?
The fellow who was sent round from the paper shop, he's in there now.
It's me girlfriend. Father. Oh dear, he doesn't want me motorbike, he wants me guts for garters.
Oh, well, that's it then. No football match for me. Well, I hope you're satisfied.
Satisfied? I'm terrified. Have you seen signs of him?
Danny,
What?
Mr. Stockwell wants a few words with you.
All right, I think I know most of them. Oh dear.
Oh, it's funny the way things turn out. It's not funny to me. Oh, the poor little football fan. Get over, Mum.
Oh dear.
Well, I was looking forward to going to that match. Never mind, you can stop and help me in the garden, eh? Help in the garden? Oh, heck no. The best match of the season. I can see it all now. The Rovers will sweep down the field. Simpson will dash down the wing, lob it over to Appleby. Appleby will pass it back to Cox, and he'll go down and he'll slam it in the net, and they'll all be shouting and cheering and waving the rattles, and I'll be doing a Oh, well, you needn't get so upset now. Get off.
Hey, Jimmy, it's a top at Mr. Stockwell. Do you know, he said I can take Wilma any time I like, as long as I take this with me.
Well, what is it?
An alarm clock.
Oh, look at the time. They'll be kicking off in 3/4 of an hour. Oh, it's a good thing that Mr. Stockwell has a sense of humour. Oh, he didn't think it was funny when he found Jimmy was trying to sell him a motorbike.
Yeah, me damn thing for that. He'd never have offered to take him to the match.
What match?
Well, have you not told him?
I couldn't get a word in. Tell me what?
The Rovers and United. He's got 2 stand tickets. He's waiting for you in his car.
Stand ticket? Where's me coat?
Now, Jimmy. See,
think on you mind your manners. And none of your shouted rude remarks at the referee.
Hey, come on, get your arm in.
I'm not wearing that junk.
Why not?
You don't know anything, do you? I'll be sitting in a seat in the stand, not with a riff-raff behind the goalpost. I've got my dignity to think about, you know. Bye-bye.
We present Jimmy Clitheroe as the Clitheroe Kid, with Peter Sinclair as grandfather, Patricia Burke as mother, Leonard Williams as Theodore Craythorpe, Danny Ross as Alfie Hall, and Diana Day as Susan in...
The Girl Who Got the Message.
Jimmy, will you stand still for a wee minute while I'm talking to you?
Well, Mr. Whittle's waiting for me next door. I should have been there 10 minutes ago.
Never mind Whacker Whittle. Now, I've got to go out, Jimmy. But I've had strict instructions from your mother.
Well, do as she says. When you're at the Rose and Crown, as soon as you feel like singing Annie Laurie, come home.
Now, Jimmy, you never mind about the jokes. The instructions were about you.
I'm not going to the Rose and Crown. I'm going to see Mr. Whittle.
Oh, but you're not. You've got to stay here till Alfie Hall arrives and give him a message. Then you can go next door and listen to Liverpool's Billy Liar all night.
Oh, Mr. Whittle's dad was going to let me have a look at his ships that he made when he was a lighthouse keeper. He's dead clever, Grandad. They're all in bottles.
Oh, that's not clever. Anyone who's been to sea knows how to do that.
I bet you couldn't.
Of course I could. You see, all you do is to empty the bottle, fold the ship down, push it in, and pull a little string to raise the sails.
By the time you empty the bottle, you wouldn't be able to find the ship.
Now, that'll be enough of that.
Hello there, is young Jim in?
Yes, come in, Mr. Whittle.
Oh, it's you, Whittle.
Hello there, Pete. Well, it's a broad, bricked, moonlit, nicked, dicked. As you whiskey swillers say.
Now, Whittle, just before you
hey,
start...
what's up, Jim? I thought he was coming over to see the old fella's boats. He doesn't like to be kept waiting. You see, he's getting on, you know. And he gets a bit cantankerous.
You want to try rubbing it with embrocational?
Now, if you two Oxford Donalds keep quiet a minute, I've got a message for Jimmy. Now, listen. When Alfie Hall gets here, tell him your mother had a phone call from Susan to say she's working over. And he is to ring her the minute he arrives here to find out what time she'll be home. Your mother was dashing out, so she passed it on to me, and I'm passing it to you.
Then I pass it to Alfie, and he heads it in.
Well, anyway, now don't forget to tell Alfie. Well, I'll be getting away now. And don't you go next door till Alfie Hall arrives. Remember? Well, goodbye.
Bye, Grandad.
Cheerio, Jock. I might see you later. Well, Jim, it's a bit of a nuisance having to wait for Alfie.
Ooh, he's a dope the way he chases after our Susan. He's like a little soft puppy. It's a wonder he doesn't run and fetch your slippers in his mouth.
Don't be hard on him, Jim.
That'll be Susan's pet spaniel now. I'll let him in.
Watch what you say, Jim, or he might fight.
You ain't none but a hound dog. You ain't none but...
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Alfie. Oh, come in.
Yeah, thank you.
Wipe your paws on the mat.
Yeah, all right. Is Susan in?
I've got some bad news for you, Romeo. Juliet is doing a bit of overtime. So you'll have to sit on your own balcony.
What?
Hello there, Al. How's tricks?
Oh, all right, thanks. Jimmy, what did he say about Juliet? Susan, I mean.
She's working overtime and she wants you to phone her up. But if I was you, I'd run for it now while you've got the chance, before Dracula's daughter can get her hands on you again.
Oh, now, Jimmy, don't you be calling Susan names to me in front of me back behind her face. I mean, behind my face, in front of a face at the back, in front of my big... Did you think it's going to rain?
No, but I should keep your cap on.
Why?
It'll give you something to do with your head. What do you want to know about the rain for?
Because if it's going to rain, I'll go down to Susan's office with her umbrella, then she won't get wet.
She's been all wet for years. Oh, you're a big mug, you are. Fancy going all that way to keep the rain off a blooming girl.
Ah, you'll think differently when you're grown up. Oh, man, look after the girls.
Now, Alfie, that's not true everywhere. Out east, they have a different way of going on. There, the ladies is just chatterleys. In places like Mesopotamia, the kings there is called sultans, and their wives is sultanas.
What are the kids, raisins?
Yeah, but they're not like our girls.
The what?
They're not like our girls.
What? Them sultans always pick the best-looking Judies around. And the Judies do themselves up lovely with lipstick, powder, and all them cosmeticals. Of course, the eyes are the things the men go for most. So these birds spend hours doing up their eyelashes with that cascara.
But those foreigners, they have more than one wife, don't they?
Oh, aye. They're what you call polymygus.
Polly what?
No, that's a word you wouldn't understand, Jim. It means they have two wives. There's words for all numbers if you know them. I mean, if a bloke has one wife, that's monotony. And if he has two, that's polyagony. And of course, if you've got a dozen, that's trigonometry.
You know what? Trigonometry is like arithmetic. You know, multiplying and that.
Well, Natch, there's bound to be a bit of multiplying when the Sultan's got a dozen wives.
Jimmy, will you stop moaning? I just happened to be passing your school at 4 o'clock, so I waited for you. What's wrong with that?
Everything. Ozzie and Charlie Thompson saw you. Tomorrow they'll have all the class calling me Mummy's boy. And I'll have to fight somebody.
You'll do no such thing. Anyway, even if the others call you Ozzie, won't he? He's your pal.
I hope he does. Ozzie's the only one I'm sure I can beat.
Strikes me, your class is full of little hooligans.
Oh, heck, hurry up, ma'am. Come on.
What's the sudden rush for?
Blooming Shirley Peters is just crossing the road.
I'm not dashing away from Shirley. She's a very sweet child.
But she's a girl. If Charlie Thompson sees me talking to a girl as well as you, oh, I've really had it then.
Don't be so stupid.
Ma'am, anyone in the Black Hand Gang seen out with a girl has to crawl on his hands and knees in front of all the others.
That's a silly thing to do.
It's painful as well. The rest of the gang follow you wearing football boots.
Hello, Mrs. Clitheroe.
Oh, hello, Shirley.
Hello, Jimmy.
Hello.
I was wanting to see you, Jimmy.
Well, now you know what to look like. You better go home.
Jimmy, don't you be so rude.
Oh, he was only joking, weren't you?
Yes, ha, blooming ha.
Daddy's got 2 free tickets for the circus, and I wondered if Jimmy would like to come with me.
Oh, that is kind of you, Shirley. You've been wanting to see the circus, haven't you, Jim?
Oh, yes. No. Anyway, I can't go tonight. I've got too much homework.
Oh, they're not for tonight.
Oh, well, tomorrow night's the same. I was going to ask Ozzie to go on Saturday afternoon.
My tickets are for Saturday afternoon.
Well, I can't leave Ozzie, my best pal.
Well, I'll ask Daddy to get another ticket.
Oh, no. I mean, I'll have to stay with Ozzie on Saturday. He's going to be ill. His mother's ill, so he's got to cook the food and all that.
Well, why does he want you there?
To help him with his mother. You see, he's a rotten cook, and I might have to hold her down while he feeds her. That's a joke. Well, ta-ra.
Jimmy, don't you tell lies. I'm sorry, Shirley.
You see, he's afraid of this stupid gang he belongs to. He doesn't want them to see him with a girl.
That's right, Shirley. It's not your fault. I mean, you can't help being a soppy girl.
Jimmy, now you apologise. Say you're sorry. Go on.
Oh, it's all right, Mrs. Clitheroe. I don't want Jimmy to do anything he doesn't want to do.
Oh, but I am sorry, Shirley.
Are you really, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm very sorry for you. If I was a soppy girl, I'd be sorry for myself.
Jimmy, I told you to apologise. Shirley is not a soppy girl.
Well, with those pigtails and that dress, if she's not a girl, our biology master's been talking a lot of rubbish. They'll not stop me going to the circus. Anyway, it'll be easier to get in on Friday afternoon. Come on, Ozzy. Hello, is that Higginbottoms? Oh, hello, Mr. Higginbottom. Can I speak to your Ozzy, please? He's digging up some worms in the garden. Hasn't he had his tea yet? Oh, no, Mr. Higginbottom, I'm not trying to be clever. It's just that the lads always call Ozzy Brainy Bird. Clever, you know. Yes, I'll hold on. Hello? Is that you, Sparrowlegs? Hey, your dad's in a bad mood. What's wrong with him? Has he been eating your mother's cooking again? All right, I'm only joking. Listen, we're going to the circus. You and me. Tomorrow afternoon. I know it's Friday. We're going to play truant. There's no lessons tomorrow afternoon. We're rehearsing for prize day. Yes. We'll be stuck in the hall all afternoon yodeling nymphs and shepherds. Nymphs and shepherds. You know. Nymphs and shepherds, come away, come away, come away. That's when the two black sheep will leave the fold and nip off to the circus. Yes, you and me. Hey, wasn't that a smashing circus, Ozzy? Haven't you finished eating yet? You've been stuffing all afternoon. Your mother's expecting you to come home from school hungry. She'll have your tea waiting for you in the trough.
Hello there, James. Oswald.
Hello, Mr. Craythorpe. You're home from work early?
Yes, I dodged away a little early. I'm playing truant.
Sorry, actually. You clot, get on with your dinner, or I'll give you a mouthful of knuckles for afters. Oh, tell your dad of me who scared a foghorn Fred. Good riddance.
James, that was most unkind.
Well, he's a big blabbermouth.
You shouldn't have struck him. Anyway, is it true that you played truant?
All right, yes. But don't let on, will you, Mr. Craythorpe?
Certainly not. I can keep a secret.
Well, to make sure, spit your promise.
I beg your pardon?
Cross your heart, put your finger across your throat, say honour bright and spit.
I'll do no such thing.
You're going to tell on us, telltale tit.
I am not.
Well, spit your promise then.
No, really.
Oh, go on.
Oh, very well. This is most ridiculous still. Cross my heart, my throat, honour bright.
Hey! Watch where you're aiming.
Well, you asked for it. Now, after all that, did you enjoy the circus?
Oh, it was great. Clowns, acrobats, lions, monkeys, and the best thing of the lot was a mule nobody could ride. They asked for volunteers, but everybody was scared except Ozzy.
Oh, did Oswald volunteer?
Well, not exactly. I volunteered for him. I told him he'd dropped a chocolate, and when he stood up to find it, I gave him a push. The mule did the rest.
Oh, James, you're a little terror. You know, I thought there was something strange when little Shirley Peters told me she had a letter for your mother from your headmaster, Mr. Treadwell.
What? Oh, no. I bet she gave us away. That letter will be telling me Mum we played truant. She'll murder me. And that's nothing to what he'll do to me. Old Toby Jug Treadwell.
Oh, James, you are in trouble.
Wait a minute. There's one hope. Mum won't be home till about 8 o'clock, so if I can get the letter off Shirley and tear it up, I'll be all right.
But, Toby Jug, Mr. Treadwell will still deal with you severely on Monday.
Not if I take a letter on Monday from me grandad saying I was ill.
But your grandfather wouldn't write that.
No, I've got to find a mug.
But who?
What do you like at forging in Scotch? Come on, Shirley, drink up. Have another lemonade.
Oh, no, thank you, Jimmy. I couldn't. I was surprised when you rang up and asked me to meet you at the milk bar.
Well, I wanted to make up for being rude to you yesterday.
Oh, that's forgotten now, Jimmy.
Will you have some more ice cream?
No, thanks. But you have one.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, go on. What we've had up to now has only cost me 2 shillings, so I've still got 1 and 6 left.
Righto, then. But next time we live it up, the treat's on me.
Oh, thanks.
Now, come on, have another ice cream. Mister, 2 more strawberry ices, please.
Oh, all right. You are kind, Jimmy.
Oh, that's all right. You'd better give me that other 1 and 6. Thanks. I was just wondering whether you'd do me a favour.
Of course I would.
Well, would you give me that letter you've got for me mum and never mention a word to anybody?
Well, I would, Jimmy.
Oh, good.
But I haven't got it.
Well, don't sit there stuffing your face. Go and get... would you mind getting it for me, please? Sure.
Well, I can't. I called at your house and gave it to Susan. She put it in her handbag.
What? You mean I've been sat here risking my reputation for nothing? Mister, cancel one of them strawberry ices. Miss Clueless of 1961 is leaving.
Grandad, what time did Mother say she'd be back?
Oh, about 8 o'clock, Susan.
Oh, well, I'd better wash up the tea things for her.
No, Susan, leave it to me. You sit down and relax. I'll do the washing up in your handbag. In the kitchen.
What's the catch?
Oh, there is no catch.
You're getting very considerate about Susan all of a sudden.
Oh, well, she's got the letter. She's got the message. She's very clever. You can't fool her, you know.
No, you can't. What are you up to?
Nothing, Susan. I was just thinking... When you live with your sister and see her every day, you forget how beautiful she is. And looking at you reminds me, we've got no soap powder.
Jimmy, what are you blathering about?
They're washing up, Grandad. I'll nip out for the soap powder before the shop shuts. I'll just borrow the money out of Susan's handbag.
You leave that handbag alone, and we've got plenty of soap powder. 4 packets of it. Enough to wash your neck clean.
Oh, jolly good, eh, Grandad? Ooh, when Susan cracks her jokes, she reminds me of Billy Bunter. Especially from the back.
What was that?
I said, why don't you go in the back garden with Grandad? The fresh air would do you both good.
Not me, Jim. I'll be popping out for my fresh air later on.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Still, it's a funny place to get fresh air. The smoke room at the Rose and Crown.
Now, look, I'm only going down there because of a few empties to take back.
Take 'em in our Susan's handbag.
What do you keep talking about my handbag for?
Oh, it's a word I've got on the brain. And I keep saying it. When our history master asked me what animal took with him over the house, I said, a handbag.
You told him that?
Yes. I said, Hannibal carried a handbag and the elephants carried the trunks.
Wonder who that is.
It's probably Alfie. He said he'd call round. I'll let him in.
No, Susan, I'll let him in. I just want a quick word with him in private.
Well, take him in the front room. Tell him I won't be long.
Right, Susan.
Hello, Jimmy. It's me, Alfie.
In that crash helmet, I thought it was Mickey the Martian. Come in.
Right, Jimmy. Ooh, I've had a job getting here. You see, my motorbike conked out and I tried to fix it with a spanner, but I'd forgotten it was raining, and while I was bent down cleaning my carburettor, a bus come past and splashed mud all over me from front wheel to tool bag. It is Friday, isn't it?
Yes, the day we have fish. Come in the front room, Cod's Head.
Yeah, only I told Susan I'd call around Friday night to arrange about going to the circus.
Don't mention the circus to me. I'm fed up.
Why? What's your trouble?
Girls. Daft, soppy, blinking girls. If I had a magic wand, I'd turn them all into mice and buy a cat.
Look, I'll bet if you did turn your Susan into a mouse, you'd still like me.
Of course you would. Mice are very fond of a bit of gorgonzola.
Now, that'll do. Look, if Susan were a mouse, we'd still get on fine, because she knows I like a little pet. Yeah, anyway, what's up?
Well, I gave Shirley Peters the brush off. Then I played to it for school, and they gave Shirley a note from my mum, and Shirley gave it to Aunt Susan, and I can't get it off her, and Mum will be back at 8 o'clock, and I need help. So you'll do it, won't you?
Yes.
Good.
Do what?
Get some dust in your eye.
Yeah, oh, that's dead easy, because I like it. What for?
So you can ask Susan for the mirror out of her handbag and whip the note.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but what note?
Look, just get the handbag off her. I'll do the brain work.
Jimmy.
What?
Where can I get some dust?
Just tilt your head to one side and shake it. Look, you don't need any dust. You just pretend you've got some in your eye.
Are you in here, Alfie?
Oh, look out, she's here.
Hello, Susan. You look a bit tired. Can I borrow the bags from under your eyes? I've got some dust in my eye.
Oh, dear. Let me see. Tilt your head back.
But Susan, I'm all right.
Now then, Alfie, keep still. I'll just go and get a handkerchief.
Ask her for the mirror, you clot.
Oh, all right.
Here we are. Now then.
Can I have the mirror, you clock? Oh, dear.
Keep still. I'm going to probe under your eyelid. Oh, which one is it?
It's the one in your handbag.
What are you talking about?
Look, leave him alone. He can get it out himself. All he needs is your handbag and the sugar tongs.
Look, you're after my handbag for something, but you're not having it.
Oh, well, keep your rotten old handbag. It suits you, especially your face. It's crocodile skin.
That doesn't. I'll smack you for that.
Get off! Ow, me ear! Alfie, do something. Clout it with the piano or something.
You cheeky young monkey.
Here, now, stop it, you two. Susan, what are you doing?
I'm teaching my delinquent brother some manners. It's time he learned to behave like a gentleman.
Oh, listen to the Duchess of Dishwater. She thinks she's everybody just because she drinks a tea with a little finger stuck in the air.
Now, that'll do, Jimmy. Now, your mother's just been on the phone. You've got to go to Theodore Craythorpe's and ask him to come round here.
But, Grandad, I can't go now. I've got something important to do.
Jimmy, do as you're told. And tell Theodore he's to bring the books round for the Women's Guild Social Committee. Now, off you go.
Oh, all right, I'll go. But if my mum gets back before me, tell her there's a very simple answer to the whole thing. If I could only think of it.
Jimmy was trying to get that envelope from me before I gave it to you.
But why? It's only a free ticket for the football match tomorrow. Jimmy said they were expecting some sort of reward for winning the Junior Shield.
Well, why didn't they just give it to him at the school this afternoon?
Perhaps he wasn't at school this afternoon.
Oh, of course he was. He must have been. Otherwise, they'd have missed him in class.
Wait a minute, Pat. All they were doing this afternoon was the rehearsal for speech day. He could have slipped away without being noticed.
Well, where would he have gone?
To the circus, perhaps?
Oh, the circus. Susan, I think you've got something there. He didn't want to go with Shirley tomorrow, so I bet he sneaked off from school this afternoon.
The young scamp. If I find out he did go to the circus, I'll warm the tail of his shirt for him.
Well, there's one simple way to make sure. We'll set a trap for him.
Oh, what do you mean, Mother?
Well, look, he thinks this letter is about him playing truant. So, if we leave it on the mantelpiece, he'll think I haven't seen it. And when he gets back, we'll watch him from the kitchen. For once, that little eavesdropper is going to be eavesdropped on himself.
Come in, Mr. Craythorpe. And don't make a sound.
But, James, I still don't understand.
Shh, quiet. We mustn't make a noise, so take your shoes and socks off.
James, don't be so ridiculous. For the last time.
Shh, I want to listen. Not a sound. They must be out. Look, I've got to do some quick thinking about that letter. Hey!
What?
There it is, on the mantelpiece. Mum can't have read it yet, so all I've got to do is to get...
Hello, Jim.
Oh, Grandad, did you have to sneak in like that? It's all right, Mr. Craythorpe. You can come out from behind the sofa.
Sorry if I startled you, Jim. Theodore, what would you playing that creeping in like that?
Well, Mr. Sinclair, I was going to...
You didn't want to waken anybody, did you?
Yes, that's right.
But it's only just turned 8 o'clock, Theodore. We don't go to bed that early.
Quite. I mean...
The dog.
It was the dog I didn't want to waken.
We haven't got a dog.
Haven't you? Oh, of course. But you used to have one.
That's right. It left home the day after Grandad had his bagpipes mended.
Jimmy, now stop telling your fibs. Well, now, you're both here. We can have a nice, cosy little chat, can't we, Jimmy?
Yes. I mean, hey, Grandad, isn't that somebody shouting for you outside the house?
What? I never heard anything.
Well, I'm sure I did. And I'm sure Mr. Craythorpe did, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yes, I thought I heard something.
Yeah, that's right. It could be your pal, Mr. Barnes, asking if you want to go fishing.
Well, I wonder how he expects the fish to bite in the pitch dark.
He's probably got some glowworms. Grandad, why don't you make Mr. Craythorpe a cup of tea in the kitchen?
All right, I'll do that. I just fancy one myself.
Good. But don't forget, Mr. Craythorpe doesn't like it strong, so before you put the tea leaves in, I should count them.
Well, I'll leave you to it then. Won't be long, Jim.
That's all right, Grandad. Take your time.
Well, Father?
You're right, Pat. He's definitely up to something. I think your little trap's going to work.
Shh, Grandad, listen. Quick, Mr. Craythorpe, hand it down to me.
What, Jane?
That letter on top of the clock. It's too high for me to reach.
Look at that. He's getting Theodore to help him.
Oh, I see. It's addressed to your mother.
Oh, give it here.
Jane, it's rude to snatch.
There it goes, straight on the fire.
Jane, you burnt it. What's the idea?
Now I've got rid of it, Mum can't touch me. As James Cagney said in that gangster film on the telly the other night. Listen, you guys, you can't convict a guy without evidence, because if you do, it's a bum rap, see? Come on, let's see how Grandad's getting on.
Hello, Jimmy.
What? Oh, heck, it's Mum. I thought you were out.
I came in the back way. Well, Jimmy, aren't you pleased?
Oh, yes, I'm very pleased. Very pleased indeed. But I'd be a lot more pleased if I knew what I was pleased about.
Your free ticket for the football match tomorrow.
Oh, that! What free ticket?
Look, just pop into the living room for me, and you'll find a letter on the mantelpiece.
A letter?
Yes, addressed to me. Just bring it to me, will you?
You want the letter?
Yes, hurry up.
But, Mum, how do you know there is a letter there?
Because I put it there myself after I'd opened it.
You mean you saw what was inside it?
Yes, I did.
Well, I can explain everything. It was Ozzy's fault. He planned it, and Charlie Thompson gave us a leg up over the school wall. I'm innocent.
What are you talking about?
The message from the school saying I'd played truant.
There was no message. The only thing in that envelope was your free ticket to the football match.
Oh, that's different. Well, ignore what I said just now. I was feverish. I'll just go and get the letter.
You'll find it in the fire, Jimmy.
That's right, Mum. I'll find it in the letter. I burnt it. I burned the letter with the ticket in. Mr. Craythorpe, you gave it to me. You let me burn the letter. And you, Mum and Grandad, you were spying on me, and I burned the letter with the ticket in the letter. I burned the letter with the ticket.
Right. I think he's burned the letter.
I took the ticket out of the letter. Here it is.
Oh, it's all very well telling me now that when I burnt it, but I haven't burnt it, have I? Everything's all right.
Yes, well, perhaps this'll stop you poking your nose into other people's private mail.
Aye, you'd have far too much prying for a boy of your age.
Me? Prying? Well, listen who's talking. The two snoopers from behind the kitchen door. Peeping Pete and Keyhole Kate.
The Clitheroe Kid this week.